So we're going to do some of the just simple movements we've been doing to switch on and wake up the feet and the toes. So, you know, my feet aren't the most amazing feet, which is why I need to do these kinds of things. It's like I forgot about my feet when I hit about age 11. So anyway, there's all sorts of things we can do, but just some basics. If we start with the toes, we can just start with spreading the toes and then grasping, spreading and grasping, or if I do one foot, spreading and grasping, spread the toes as much as I can, and then, so I'm really trying to claw into the ground. And if you have a look, I'm trying not to just do it with the toes, but to actually do it with the toes and then also with the whole arch of the foot. So switch on those arch muscles in here is where you'll really feel it. So those ones, and all of these things, we kind of want to do them to the point where we start to feel those muscles fatiguing or burning or something, just getting strong sensation into those muscle groups, so that we first of all know that they're working, but also reconnect with the parts of our brains that feel them and go, oh yeah, there's muscles in there and they do something. So there's that one, the grasping and clawing, and see how I'm like clawing a hole in the ground. That's kind of the feeling we want to get. And then another good one is just this peeling one that Craig was telling me about. So that's sort of starting to get more fine motor control. And then the other direction, which I'm much less able to do, but starting from the big toe. So I'm trying to go one toe at a time, but I can't really do it. But you know, the point is to try with these things. So the peeling, and then the other way, big toe first. And then this is a good one which focuses on the extensors and the flexors, where if I try and lift the big toe, but keep the other toes pressed down, and then press the big toe and lift the other toes. And so again, I'm feeling this one in all of these different little muscles, like in the sides, which operate the little toe, and on the tops of my feet. See all the veins starting to pop out with the increased demand for blood and oxygen and all that. So even just that little bit, I'm starting to feel a fair bit of fatigue in my intrinsic muscles of the foot. So then the next ones we can do, another really good one, really simple one, just for fatiguing these deep muscles of the foot, is just to stand up on the toes like this and try not to wobble. So a lot of these exercises, like if you just go to YouTube and look up ballet foot exercises, a lot of these things come from ballet. So yeah, just standing like this, and now I'm really starting to feel it in the deep muscles in here and in here. So for some people this will be easy, so if you find it really easy, then maybe you don't need to do those ones. Okay, and then now if we start to move sort of more into the ankle muscles, we've got these ones where like I can just practice alternately lifting the outside edge of the foot and then the inside edge of the foot. So this one is pulling the peroneal muscles all up this way, and then this one is more switching on the deep flexor compartment, the tibialis posterior, and so on. So this one, you start to feel more of that burn going along the outsides and insides of the ankle. And you see how my knees want to go in and out. So that's totally cool, but if I come over to the bench, then we can make it more of a, rather than a sort of muscle strengthening or whatever exercise, we can make it more of a neuromuscular thing where I try and differentiate. So see how when I do this movement of that foot, my knees want to go in and out. So if I want to differentiate the movement at the foot from the knee and the hip, then I can do the same thing and try really hard to not allow the knees to move at all, because it turns out we have this whole amount of rotation of the tibia and fibula in association with the ankle. So I'm having to try really hard not to move my knees here. So the thing that's fatiguing is actually my brain. And if I try and make it really slow and smooth, so you see how there's all these little jerk, jerk, jerk bits of quivering in the foot, so I try and just smooth that out so it has access to all of that movement. And again, you know, I'm feeling muscles working and stuff, but the main thing is just to get freedom of movement in the foot and ankle without it affecting the hips. And part of the reason for that is, like, when we move around, we want our feet to be able to conform to the ground, like stepping over whatever uneven surfaces and different things, without that causing a corresponding reaction in the hip which puts us off balance. We want the feet and hips to both be able to adjust in all sorts of ways, with the hips, with the pelvis not being affected, so the pelvis and spine can still be upright no matter what the legs are doing. So that takes us on to the next one, which is where we start to switch on the whole bottom of the foot by carefully putting the body weight over it. So if I just lean over, then you can sort of see. So first of all, if I move my weight back to the heels, and then I shift my weight to the outsides of the heel back here, and then I slowly shift it forward so it's here, slowly shift it forward so it's here, then it's over the ball of the little toe and the little toe, and then I start rolling it towards the base of the second toe, base of the third toe, base of the fourth toe, base of the big toe, inside of the big toe, and then I start rolling it back. So I go back, 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 back to the inside of the heel. And so I can make little circles like that where I go around, and I just try and get smooth control through all of those. And what's going to happen is, if I'm not paying attention, I'm just going to skip through the difficult bits and go so to really try and get full smooth control through all of those. And then back the other way, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, and then down the outside edge of the foot like this. And what you start to feel when you do this is that as the foot does this circle, you get these corresponding circular movements of the head of the femur in the hip socket. And again, we want to be able to, or we could do both feet going, circling in the same direction, one way and the other way. And so what this is doing is it's switching on all of the different muscles which control the whole ankle in 360 degrees. So that's a whole bunch of stuff. Other things we can do, of course, you can get your TheraBand and do, you know, toe flexion or foot flexion, and, you know, pointing the toe and that sort of thing, or even just toe push-ups. So you're just sitting there and you just go into a toe stretch and then start doing push-ups off your toes. I can angle it more towards the big toe, so that's working the flexors of the big toe, or I can angle it more towards the little toe, and that's working the flexors of the little toe. You can just do it one foot. You know, it's pretty, my toes aren't that strong, so again, I can't do that much. And another really good one, so, you know, there's heaps of these things. If you get into the anatomy of the foot, you can just totally start making it up, or even just moving around, or watching babies like I'm always talking about recently. So these sorts of ones where we come into our squat and then we pull ourselves up and we try to pull ourselves up on the toes and then lower with control as much as possible the knees to the front, and then pulling back again, pulling the knees off the ground and back. So to pull from here forwards, it's a lot of activity of the tibialis anterior and all the toe extensors, the dorsiflexors of the foot. And then here in this position, it's all those deep foot muscles, like when I was doing this stance. And then here, obviously, the toe flexors are working really hard to keep the knees off the ground. And then here, to get the knees up, the toe flexors have to work really hard, and so on. So even just that 1 or 2 repetitions, heaps of work going through here. So I should do these exercises a lot rather than just talk about them. Okay, cool, that's a good start for the feet. Oh yeah, of course, the just practicing the point. So simple, but we can go from dorsiflexion into the point and just really squeezing that point like we do in all our gymnastics things. Similar to that idea of using grip strength when you're lifting or doing chin-ups, using the grip strength to switch on more motor units in the arms and cause shoulder stability and so on. So same with the foot. If we do the strong point when we're doing whatever, even chin-ups or any of our arm balances or leg lifts or L-sits, all of those things, the toe point helps not just the foot but the whole leg.